So hey students, welcome to the channel Vedantu NCERT Solutions, where we find solutions to all the questions which is given you NCERT for all the chapters and all the subjects. So today we have a question from the plant kingdom. This is me, your master teacher of biology. Let's solve it together. Now let's look at the question. They're asking us to differentiate, that is different. Find, telling me the difference between red algae as well as, let me change the color here, red algae as well as brown algae. What is the difference? Then difference between liverworts and mosses, those are your bryophytes, right? Bryophytes. Then homosporous and heterosporous, this is seen in your pteridophytes, right? Pteridophytes. Let me write it better. This is seen in your pteridophytes, right? Pteridophytes. So let's quickly understand the difference between first red algae and brown algae. So I have a table for you differentiating it, and I'll explain you in detail what is the difference between red algae as well as your brown algae. So red algae first. Red algae is known as what? Rhodophyceae. It belongs to the class Rhodophyceae. Right? So red algae belong to the class Rhodophyceae, while your brown algae belong to the class Phaeophyceae. Please note down. Please note down. Red algae belongs to Rhodophyceae, while your brown algae belongs to Phaeophyceae. What about Chlorophyceae? That's your green algae. Right now we're not looking at it. Let's just look at the Rhodophyceae and Phaeophyceae. Now, when I say Phaeophyceae, I say brown algae. Brown algae. Why the brown? Because of the pigment. When I say Rhodophyceae, I should think of red algae. Why red? Because of the red pigment. Now, what is this red pigment? The red pigment which is present in your red algae is nothing but your phycoerythrin. It is phycoerythrin is the pigment which imparts the red color to the red algae, and the brown pigment which is present in the Phaeophyceae is fucoxanthin. The concentration of fucoxanthin may vary. Depending upon the concentration of variation on the concentration of fucoxanthin, the brown algae can become all the way from your olive green to the different shades of brown, depending upon the concentration of fucoxanthin. That's the pigment. Now, what are the other pigments? Both of them, that is Rhodophyceae, red algae, Phaeophyceae, brown algae, has one common pigment. That is your chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A is a common pigment. Right? Chlorophyll A is a common pigment. So what about other pigments? In case of your brown algae, you have chlorophyll C, and in case of your red algae, you have chlorophyll D. Clear? Next differentiating feature is the stored food material. Now, in the case of your red algae, it has a special type of starch known as Floridian starch. It has known as what? Floridian starch. But in the case of your brown algae, we have something called as mannitol as well as laminarin. Mannitol as well as laminarin. Now, next, let's go to exterior. That is the cell wall. Now, both in the case of your brown algae as well as red algae, cellulose is common. I repeat, cellulose is common. Right? Cellulose is common. Apart from cellulose, in the case of your brown algae, you have alginic acid or alginate. Alginic acid. You have alginic acid or alginate in your brown algae, while in your red algae, you have some phosphate esters. That is your phosphate esters such as carrageen as well as pectin is also present. Pectin, and also what? Along with the pectin, you have agar. Clear? Along with it, you have agar. So that is the difference between red algae as well as your brown algae. Now, along with this, what about the flagella? Your red algae is completely non-motile. Red algae is completely non-motile. It doesn't have any flagella, while your brown algae is motile. Brown algae is motile. It has two flagella. It says two flagella here. Now, these two flagellas present here are unequal and lateral. Unequal and lateral flagella. Clear? That is the difference between red algae and brown algae, which you need to know. Now let's look at difference between liverworts and mosses. First difference is the most easy one, is the rhizoids. In the case of your liverworts, you have unicellular rhizoids. In the case of mosses, you have multicellular rhizoids which also have septa. They can also have septa. Clear? They all can have septa. Now, what about scales? In the case of your mosses, the scales are completely missing. Scales are completely missing. But in case of your liverworts, you can also find scales. Also find what? Scales. Now, where do you find the scales and rhizoids? In liverworts, they are little bit of thyroid structure. Thyroid structure means what? It does not have root, stem and leaf. I will repeat, it does not have true root, stem and leaf. It does not have true root, stem and leaf. That is, it is thyroid structure and also it is dorsiventral. It is what? Dorsiventral. Now this dorsiventral side towards the ventral side. Towards the ventral side, you have the rhizoids as well as scales. Towards the ventral side, you have scales as well as rhizoids in case of your liverworts. While in case of your mosses, they are foliage. Foliage means what? Foliage means leaf-like. Foliage means leaf-like with lateral branching. Branching is towards the sideways. Branching is towards the sideways. One second, let me erase that. Branching is towards sideways. Lateral branching towards one side. So branching keeps on happening towards one side here. So this is your thing. Branching is happening here. It keeps on branching. This is your lateral branching. But in the case of your liverworts, it is dichotomous branching. What is dichotomous branching? So dichotomous branching is this. This divides into two. This divides into two. This divides into two. This divides into two. Dichotomous branching can be seen in the case of your liverworts. Now, gemme cups are present here. Gemme cups are present in your liverworts along with fragmentation. In the case of your mosses, gemme cups are completely absent. But in case of your gemme cups, you have one other special type of structure in the case of your liver mosses, that is protonema stage. Protonema stage is present. Protonema stage is present. Can you tell me? Who can tell me what is protonema stage? If you do not know what is protonema stage, go watch the 3.8 exercise, 3.6 exercise where I have taught what exactly is protonema, what do you mean by protonema, where do you find the protonema. Clear? Go check out the video 3.8 exercise. Now, last and final is very little photosynthetic tissue in sporophyte. Understandable. But in the case of your mosses, the photosynthetic tissue is abundant. It's present in a large amount. That is, photosynthetic tissue is in the sporophyte is abundant. That is the difference between liverworts and mosses. Finally, let's differentiate between homosporous and heterosporous. Homo means what? Homo means same. Homo means same. Sporous means spores. So same spores. They bear what? Same type of spores. Hetero means what? Hetero means different. Hetero means different. Sporous means spores. So these are the phenomena. This is a phenomena where the plant will have two types of spores. That is two types of spores. So who can tell me the examples? Who can tell me in the comments? Who can tell me the examples of heterospory? Who can tell me the examples of heterospory? One example is Salaginella. Let me know in the comment section what is the other example which is given you NCERT for heterospory. Let me know in the comment section. Now, here the gametophyte. In the case of your homosporous, bisexual gametophytes are formed. Very important, note down, bisexual gametophytes, while in the case of a hetero, right, in the case of hetero, because there are presence of two types of spores, right, these two types of spores are what? Micro as well as mega. Micro give rise to the what? The male. The mega gives rise to the female, right? And they fertilize. That's why you have unisexual gametophyte here. Unisexual gametophyte. So those were the difference between your red-brown algae, your liverworts and mosses, and homosporous as well as heterosporous. Let me know in the comment section all the questions I asked, and also like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do not want to miss any of the content. Let me know in the comment section if I need to make content in Hindi also. I'll try to talk in Hindi. Hindi में बात कर सकते हैं. So let's do that in the next class. So let me know in the comment section, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do not want to miss any of the content.